Lucky arrives at New City Bank, the largest bank in Delhi, to withdraw his money. As soon as he enters the manager's cabin, he locks the door from the inside. This leads the manager to the misunderstanding that Lucky is a robber or a thief. Calming him down, Lucky explains that he is only there to withdraw his funds. He asks the manager to scan his fingerprint on the machine, but the machine marks his identity as failed. To be continued.
Lucky had managed to enter the bank, but when the manager asked for his card to withdraw money, he didn't have one. Seeing Lucky's tattered condition, the manager was already losing his temper, and then Lucky made a demand. He wanted to withdraw money using his fingerprint. However, things reached a breaking point when the fingerprint failed to match. The manager pulled out his phone and began dialing the police. Wait, what are you doing? Look, sir, listen to me. I'm not a criminal. It's possible I used the wrong finger. Please, just let me try the fingerprint one last time, please. Look, if this finger doesn't work either, don't you dare say you want to try the next one. This isn't going to go on forever. If this one fails, I am calling the police right now. The manager held the machine in one hand and his mobile phone in the other. He had the police's number pulled up on the screen, his thumb hovering over the green call button. Meanwhile, Lucky wiped his right finger on his trousers, breathed a prayer, and placed it on the machine. As soon as his finger touched the scanner, the machine beeped and glowed a bright green. Suddenly, a message flashed on the manager's phone. He began to read it aloud. Verification successful. Account 1. Name Laxman Lal Agarwal. Account number 01104. The moment the manager saw the message, his eyes widened in shock. Seeing the glowing lights on the machine, Lucky's eyes also sparkled with relief. He practically danced with joy at the sight of the green light, then turned to glare at the manager. All the insults the manager had hurled at him moments ago were echoing in his mind. The manager, now trembling, folded his hands and gave a nervous, sheepish laugh. "Laxman, sir, please forgive me, sir. I am new to this branch, so I didn't realize who you were. I am Shashikant Verma, the customer manager of this branch. Please look after me in the future, sir. Please. I'm so sorry." Yeah, fine. Just tell me how much money is in my account," Lucky said, making himself comfortable on the sofa. The manager remained standing before him, frantically pulling up the account details on his phone. He swiped through several screens and spoke, his voice trembling. "It's done, sir. In your account, right now, there is 90 crore, 80 lakh, 70,650 rupees, sir." Shashikant's own senses were reeling after seeing such a massive sum. He couldn't believe a man who looked like this could have so much wealth. Judging by his face, Lucky didn't look a day over 20 or 22. Having such a fortune at that age was truly extraordinary. Shashikant thought to himself that 99% of people in the world couldn't earn this much even after working their entire lives. However, as Lucky looked at the information on the phone, he felt a strange sensation. He realized he needed to start adapting his lifestyle to match this wealth immediately. Otherwise, he would keep facing the kind of treatment he just endured at the bank. Wait, sir. Besides the cash, there are other assets linked to your account that I need to tell you about. Sir, there is a Ferrari registered to your account. Additionally, you have 100 bricks of gold, 2 kilograms each, 20 bricks of gold, 5 kilograms each, 3 original Picasso paintings, 20 24-carat diamonds, and much more, sir. Shashikant panted, wiping the sweat from his forehead. After seeing such immense wealth, Shashikant's eyes were nearly popping out of his head. He'd never seen a man as rich as Lucky in his life. Not even 10% of the combined wealth of every other client in that branch could match what Lucky owned. Fine, now give me a card. Yes, sir. I will have a new card made for you right away. Just give me 10 minutes, sir. Only 10 minutes. Shashikant hurried out of the room. By the time Lucky had finished rereading the message on the phone, the manager returned with a shimmering Supreme card. Despite the card's prestige, the manager felt it was nothing compared to Lucky's actual net worth. Still, it was the highest-tier card available at the branch. He had already embossed Lucky's full name as Laxman Lal Agarwal.
"Here is your card, sir. You will receive the password and other details via email," Shashikant said with a smile, standing respectfully with his hands folded. Lucky examined the card, stood up, and began to head out. Shashikant wanted to escort him to the exit, but since he was on duty, he couldn't leave his post. Still, he rushed ahead to open the door for Lucky. Meanwhile, Yasmin sat in her cabin clutching her head. She had no idea what was happening inside. For a moment, she thought Lucky wasn't just crazy, but a criminal who had taken Shashikant hostage. But when the manager had rushed out earlier to get a card, she realized no physical harm had been done. Then why is he in such a hurry, she wondered. Seeing Shashikant safe, the rest of the bank staff retreated from the door. Usually, one look from Shashikant was enough to send any employee scurrying back to their desk in fear. But after the manager went back inside, neither he nor Lucky had emerged for a while. Yasmin grew increasingly anxious. She knew that if anything went wrong, her job would be the first on the line. She had worked incredibly hard for this position and didn't want to lose it because of some crazy intruder. Just as a worried Yasmin looked toward the room again, she saw Lucky casually walking out and heading toward the main exit. "Hey, stop! You can't just leave like that! How dare you? How dare you force your way into our VIP room?" "I told you before I only came here to get my money, nothing else," Lucky said with a smirk. Yasmin noticed the Supreme card glinting between his fingers. The thought flashed through her mind. Had he stolen this card from inside? Before he could escape, Yasmin screamed at the top of her lungs. "Security! Security! He's stealing! Catch him!" At her cry, 2 armed guards rushed toward her. When Lucky heard her accusation, he froze. Before he could even think of running, the guards pinned him down and began searching his pockets. Yasmin noticed his name was already engraved on the Supreme card. "You have the nerve to threaten Mr. Shashikant into putting your name on this? Search his pockets," Yasmin barked. As the guards began frisking him, Lucky couldn't understand what this girl thought of him. He knew that if she found out about his account, his assets, or even just his family background, she would be groveling at his feet.
Before Lucky could say anything in his defense, a guard blurted out, "Madam, there's nothing in his pockets. In fact, his pocket is torn. Madam, it's possible he brought a knife in this pocket and it got ripped while he was trying to pull it out. That's exactly what I think happened." The other guard added in a trembling voice, "Are you crazy? What are you all saying? Shashikant!" Before Lucky could utter another word, a guard twisted both his arms behind his back. Meanwhile, Yasmin was wondering if he had brought a knife. Where did it go? "Oh my God!" Yasmin's eyes suddenly widened. She was convinced that Lucky had murdered Shashikant with that knife. She immediately pulled out her phone and dialed the police. "Hello? Police station? I'm calling from New City Bank. A crazed thief has broken into our bank and murdered our customer manager. Please come quickly, sir," Yasmin said frantically and hung up. By then, the 2 guards had forced Lucky to his knees and were pointing a gun at his head. As the onlookers witnessed this scene, they formed a circle around Lucky. Inside his cabin, the manager noticed the commotion. He quickly shut down his system and rushed out. "Hey, what is going on here?" he shouted. Everyone froze at the sound of his voice and turned toward Shashikant Verma. Yasmin was among them, and she was stunned to see her manager standing right there, alive and well. "Sir, you're alive?" she gasped, her face a mix of joy and disbelief. But in the next instant, her joy turned to dread. She realized the gravity of her mistake. She bit her lip in regret as Shashikant added salt to her wounds. "Why would I die so soon? And what is all this drama you've started?" he demanded, walking toward the crowd. As he moved forward, he saw Lucky held at gunpoint. "Hey, who did this? Who did this?" Shashikant rushed to Lucky and pushed the guards aside. He extended his hand to help Lucky up. "Sir, I am really sorry, sir. I apologize for this stupidity. I am truly sorry." Shashikant almost fell at Lucky's feet in apology. Lucky took his hand, stood up, and glared at Yasmin. You were asking who did this? She did. And that's not all. She has already called the police. She thinks I'm a criminal who murdered you and is running away with this card. This card that you gave me. Lucky pointed an accusing finger at Yasmin. The crowd instinctively stepped back, leaving Yasmin isolated. She looked down at the floor and then up at the ceiling, panicked and trembling. Yasmin, is what I'm hearing true? Shashikant asked, glaring at her with fury. Yasmin couldn't bear the anger in his eyes. She didn't have the courage to look at Lucky or Shashikant. However, she knew silence would only make things worse. Sir, this is all my fault. It was a massive misunderstanding. I thought he had forced his way in, attacked you to get this card, and then killed you, sir. Yasmin stammered, tears welling up in her eyes. The manager held his head in frustration. How could a sensible girl like Yasmin make such a blunder? She hadn't recognized Lucky. But then he realized, if he himself hadn't recognized Lucky initially, how could she? He decided it was better to tell her the truth privately. Shashikant grabbed her arm, pulled her toward a pillar, and whispered harshly, "Do you have any idea who he is? That is Laxman Agarwal, the heir to the Agarwal family. You know that the Agarwal accounts are the largest across all branches of our bank." The ground slipped from beneath Yasmin's feet. She knew that if New City Bank had reached such heights, the Agarwal family was the primary reason. This had been drummed into her since the day she joined. Do you know how much property is in this boy's name? He could buy this entire area on his own. Yasmin stared at Lucky with wide, terrified eyes. Lucky was looking back and forth between them and the surrounding crowd. Now, first call the police and tell them it was a mistake. After that, go and apologize to him. If he forgives you, you're lucky. Otherwise, consider your job gone, Shashikant said, before rushing back to Lucky's side. Yasmin stood there paralyzed. She couldn't digest what Shashikant had just told her. She felt her intentions were right, but she knew no one would listen. The bank wasn't going to lose its biggest client over a junior manager's mistake. "I have no choice left," she whispered despairingly. She pulled out her phone and called the station. When she told the officer that it was a mistake and the person she thought was a thug was actually the son of the city's wealthiest man, the reply was chilling. "Sorry, madam, but the patrol car has already left. They must be arriving any second. Tell the inspector whatever you have to say." The officer hung up. "I'm dead," Yasmin muttered. Her hands were shaking. She realized her only hope was to beg Lucky for mercy. But what if he doesn't forgive me? What if he files a defamation suit? She thought, her heart racing. She saw Lucky glaring at her while Shashikant desperately tried to calm him down. She walked up to him. Even though she felt an apology might not change her fate, she had to try. "Sir, I misunderstood you. Actually, because of your—" She glanced at his tattered clothes, took a breath, and continued. "Sir, please forgive me. I had no intention of hurting you. I was only doing what I thought was best for the bank's safety." She bowed her head, pleading. "It's okay, no problem," Lucky said simply. He took his Supreme card from her hand and walked out. Yasmin couldn't believe her ears. She couldn't believe he had forgiven her so easily. Meanwhile, Lucky himself couldn't believe that he had become so wealthy and rich overnight.
What was Lucky actually planning to do with all that money? Would he change overnight, just like his bank balance? Or will Lucky finally teach Dimple a lesson now that he's rich? To find out the answers to all these questions, comment Part 4.